Except unless you do a special drink like latte or cappuccino or, you know, but sometimes in America, you will hear coffee referred to as a cup of joe. A cup of joe refers to, it is the same thing as coffee. You don't hear it very much, and you'd only hear it in like very informal settings. If you were to ask someone in America for a cup of joe, most people would understand you. Most people would know what you're asking for, but some people might not. So it's not as common. Yeah, if you want to order a cup of coffee in America or in Europe, like in England, you should go ahead and ask for coffee. I mean, because some people might not know what that is.
The popular name, coffee. Popular name, coffee.
But yeah, coffee it's both it's the popular way of referring to it. It's also the formal way of referring to it. Coffee is coffee, but Coca-Cola can be Coke. It can be pop. Sometimes or any of the other kinds of soft drinks. So a soda, S-O-D-A, soda, is the same thing as pop, which is the same thing as a Coke, informal. And like in America, at a baseball game, where the man is walking through the crowd and he's selling, you know, soda. He'll yell out, "Soda pop, soda pop." He's, you know, selling you a bottle of cola. Okay. Well, I want to continue with the relatives. So we know all of the names for parents. Now, children. Children refer to everyone who's young, but also children would refer to the offspring of parents. So I have two children at home, a boy and a girl. Both of them are grown. Now, in America, an informal way of referring to children is kids. So I would say, I have two kids. But now that they're grown, I don't refer to my children as kids anymore. I refer to them as my children. But when they were little, when they were young, if somebody asked me, "Do you have any children?" I would say, "Yes, I have two kids." It's informal. It's informal, kids. Now, you know about brother and sister. That's easy. There really aren't any informal ways of referring to your brother and sister. Your brother is your brother. Your sister is your sister. There's no other, you know, words that we use. But my father's brother is what? The brother of my father is an uncle. Exactly. The brother of my mother is my uncle. My uncle. Now, the sister of my father Aunt. 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 And some people would say auntie. Auntie. This would be informal. The formal or the correct would be aunt. Now, in America, some people say aunt. Aunt. Some people say aunt. Aunt. And most people would say aunt. Well, in America, we have many. America is a melting pot of many ethnic groups. You know, America, some of us came from the English, some of us came, like I did, from the Irish, some of us came from Africa, some of us came from South America, some of us came from Asia, China, Japan. We're a melting pot. And so that's why words get pronounced differently. So if a person of different ancestry will refer to the same person, but they'll pronounce it differently. So I say aunt. I say aunt. But typically, if you are recently from England, you would say aunt. The African American, people from Africa who immigrated to America, they say aunt. Same word, means the same thing. Now, so we know what grandparents are, your grandfather, your grandmother, or your grandma, or your grandpa, okay? And we know what aunt and uncle would be. And now, the sister of my mother is my aunt. The children of my aunt are well, no. I was wrong. The children of my sister, I have 5 sisters at home. The children of my sister, the males are called nephews. The females are called nieces. Okay? So, my brother has 2 children, one who is male, one who is female. So I refer to his daughter as my niece. I refer to his son as my nephew. And the same with all my sisters. I refer to their male children as my nephews, and I refer to their female children as my nieces. Now, let me confuse you even more. If the sister of my mother is my aunt, her children would be my cousins. So, in my case, I have a very large family. My mother had 4 sisters and a brother, and they all had large families. So I have maybe 70 or 80 cousins. You know, when we have a big family reunion, we have to go to a park to have our family reunion, a big picnic, because we have so many people in our family, because we have so many cousins. Okay. So we know, and there really are there are no other names for cousins. Your cousin is your cousin. Your aunt is your aunt, your uncle is your uncle, your niece is your niece, your nephew is your nephew. It's just grandparents and parents that have the multiple names. You know, your father can be your dad, your daddy, your pa, your papa.
Sibling.
A what?
Sibling.
Sibling. Sibling. Sibling.
Sibling.
A sibling. And you pronounce the L. Sibling. 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 A sibling refers to both your brothers and your sisters. So sibling means
Sibling. Brother and sister. And two siblings.
yeah. So and sibling does not make a distinction. A sibling does not make a distinction between male or female. So I can refer to, I have 5 sisters and a brother. I refer to all of them as my siblings. All of them.
If not the same father, same mother, sibling.
Right. If all of the offspring of my father and my mother.
Suppose your father has 2 wives.
Oh, if your father has 2 wives? Oh. That doesn't come up in America. Well, actually it could. It could. Because if